Bob's breakfast.
Inappropriate laughter. Jackie.
On Sunday, I went camping with my husband. First time ever. Never been camping before. He had this motorhome transferred into this. Well, it was a transit van transferred so that we can take the motocross bikes and all the rest of it in the back of it. And so we decided to go and sleep for a night in it. So we went to Sway, which is New Forest, and I was really tired. So I sat in the chair and fell asleep. And then we woke up, went for a little bike ride, came back. I'm cutting the story really short, believe it or not. And the van wasn't very straight. The cup of tea was a bit slanted, and everything was a bit slanted. It felt a bit like on the tilt, like we were lifting, really. So anyway, when I got some, I think they're called skids, things that goes under the wheels that puts the van sort of in a straight line.
Yeah.
So it feels all level.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we decided to have a cuddle in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, like you do when you're old and decrepit and camping for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing led to another.
Uh-huh.
And at the crucial point, the van fell off the skids.
No.
We dropped about 2 foot.
Were you okay?
Oh, I said, oh my God, what was that? And he said, just ignore it. Of course he hadn't.
No, all right. I get the picture.
And
Jackie.
And I started laughing, right? And he said, please stop laughing, you're really putting me off.
Stop it. Jackie, thanks for oversharing this morning. Thank you. Boris Johnson is a porn star.
I beg your pardon?
The speech he gave straight after the Brexit result.
Yes.
That speech has been posted onto this website, Pornhub, under the title, Dumb British Blonde has over 15 million people at once. I must just clarify it, though. He is fully clothed. You don't see the Boris Johnson.
It's Bob.
Talking about protests this morning, and there's one going on that's affecting you, Juliet. What is it?
My kid's school is on strike tomorrow, and I'm thinking, how is that okay? Because, it's very short, very last minute, you've got to try and make other arrangements for them because,
and why is the teachers on strike, is it?
Why? I don't know. It's normally for more money, isn't it? But I don't actually know.
I don't know. The thing is, they don't know the first thing. Why aren't they striking today on the Monday, give themselves a long weekend? What's the matter with them? What is the matter with them? They get too many holidays. That's why they're not thinking like we do. We go, which day are we going to go on strike? I'm thinking of Tuesday. No, don't be stupid. Let's take the Monday or the Friday off.
Let's
get a long weekend.
The weather's nice.
Yeah, and these people we've put in charge of educating our children, and they don't know the first thing about going on strike? I don't know.
This is Bob.
We really shouldn't be surprised that Britain voted no to stay in the EU. We've never been fully committed to the idea of being European. We kept the pound as our currency instead of joining the euro, and haven't even fully adopted the metric system. Beer is sold in pints. We use miles on our road signs and our speedometers. And we still measure fuel consumption in miles per gallon, even though petrol hasn't been sold in gallons since the early 80s. And we use an even more ancient measurement when we weigh ourselves. Even the non-metric Americans use pounds, but British people use stones. The name stone derives from the use of stones for weights, a practice that dates back to biblical times. And even though Brits weigh themselves in stones, the stone is prohibited for commercial use by the Weights and Measures Act of 1985. The reluctance to fully embrace the metric system is purely anti-European. It's got nothing to do with education. All state schools in the UK have been required to teach the metric system as the primary system of measurement since 1974. Nearly 2 generations have passed through the school system, having been taught the power and simplicity of the metric system, only to be discouraged from applying it fully in everyday life. It all boils down to this. We British suffer from a superiority complex. It's a psychological defense mechanism. This feeling of superiority conceals our true feelings of inferiority. Deep down, we are all desperately awkward and insecure. We compensate by saying we're better than the rest of Europe. Miles better.
This is Bob.
Let's go to the phone. Who's this?
My name is Martin.
Hello, Martin. What can I do for you?
Hiya.
Hi.
My name's Martin, and I'm calling from I Love Savings.
I love savings.
The survey
Okay.
focuses on
Wait,
bills
Martin,
like
Martin,
energy,
Martin,
mobile
Martin,
phones,
slow
and
down.
internet. Yes.
And what can I do for you this morning? You're from
I'm
I
carrying
Love
out a
Savings.
quick survey today.
You're doing a
Wanted
what?
to ask you a couple of questions.
Quick
to see
survey?
if we can save you some money. Is that okay?
Save me some money on what?
The survey focuses on bills like your energy.
Yeah, Martin,
mobile
Martin,
phones,
slow down.
and
Martin, are
internet.
you a human being or a recording?
Yes.
Yeah, one or the other. Which are you? Are you a human being or a recording?
Yes.
Yeah, which one? You're a recording, aren't you?
No.
You're not a recording. You are a live person. I'm talking to a live person here.
Yes.
Okay, what's your last name, Martin? Martin?
I'm sorry. I don't know the answer to that, I'm afraid.
Honestly, this is like talking to Siri.
Sorry?
Martin, am I talking to a human
Yes.
being or a recording?
Uh-huh.
Martin, are
This
you...
is all pre-recorded messages operated by a live person.
You cannot be pre-recorded and live. It's impossible.
Yes.
Yes, it
Yes.
is impossible. You agree that it is impossible?
No.
You don't agree that it's not impossible. Martin, you're making no sense. Martin, are you a complete idiot?
No.
How do you know that for sure? You sound like one.
No.
You do sound like one. I'm telling you, you sound like one.
This is all pre-recorded messages operated by a live person.
Martin,
We
that's
use pre-recorded
impossible. You
messages
can't
to
be
ensure
a
we
pre-recorded
have 100%
message.
compliance on all our calls.
Martin, you can't be pre-recorded and a live message. You're one or the other. Which one are you?
Yes.
This software is crap.
Yes.
I'm glad we agree on something.
This is Bob.
Chris Hubbard, how's your news?
Well, there's a couple who went out to the Himalayas. They were spending their honeymoon there, and a leopard crept into their hotel room in the early hours. It got into this hotel, and they said they were woken up by it coming in.
And they saw it.
Yes, yeah, they were in bed.
Yes.
Just incredible to think that it didn't go straight for them. I mean, maybe it didn't see them. I don't know.
Maybe it just worked for housekeeping because they just walk in anyway.
What?
Housekeeping! And then the door's open before you're even going to go, hang on a minute!
Here we are. Bob's Breakfast.
Oh, I've got to hear this again. This is this BBC weather presenter. She gets a fit of giggles.
Now, let's get a weather update. Here is Louise Lear.
Thank you, Simon. Good evening, everybody. I'll try and keep it together because it's not a laughing matter with the weather in Scotland today's Sorry.
She's in big trouble. When have you done this? You've laughed at the wrong time. An inappropriate laughing story. What's yours, Cherie?
It was a wedding many years ago.
Yeah.
Big church wedding, lovely, and the vicar started talking about marriage being like an egg. We sort of like all looked at each other and thought, that's a bit weird.
Yeah.
And then from underneath his cassock or whatever you call it, he actually pulled out an egg and he started talking about it. And of course, these were the days where you all tended to wear a big frothy hat and everything, and all these hats were just shaking because it was just like, we know you're being serious, but it's a very odd example to start talking about an egg.
Yes,
But that, I remember that being very specific at a wedding.
And all the hats were twitching.
All the hats were twitching, yes. They were twitching rather nervously because it was a little bit rude, but,
Yes.
but at least the
Yes.
bride and groom started chuckling as well. So, and he was a lovely vicar, as they always are, so it wasn't too bad. But I remember that being one of those where you look around and you try to stop yourself, and because everybody else is still doing it, it's infectious, and you just keep going.
Bob's Breakfast.
If it's got boobs or wheels, it's going to give you problems. Or so the old saying goes. But I'd like to add one more item. Looking through my bank statements, I've noticed that, yes, my car has had a lot of work done lately, and Julie's birthday is coming up. But judging by the amount of times our cats have been to the vets, and what vets charge, maybe that saying about things that are going to give you problems should be rewritten. Wheels, women, and whiskers.
It's Bob.
Nancy's on the phone, and Nancy, you were in Russell Square yesterday where that stabbing occurred as this lady has died. There's loads of people injured. You weren't there at the actual time of the thing, though, were you?
Well, not when it happened, no. We came home early. It was just something happened at home, so we had to pop home early, and thankfully, yeah.
Oh, goodness me, right.
From it. So, yeah, it won't be going again.
You won't be going to London again?
No, not for a while.
Why is that?
Just a bit. All the sort of stormtrooper, policemen that are around, and it's all a bit.
Yeah, but this was just one loony.
I know.
And the number of ISIS attacks on Britain still stands at exactly 0.
You're right. And it was lovely in London.
Well, there you go, see? Don't let us spoil it. Don't let them win. Don't let them win.
Don't let them win. No,
all right, Nancy, thanks a lot.
Bye.
This is Bob.
Big football match tonight. It's Wales versus Portugal in the semi-final of Euro 2016. Wales have already beaten the odds to get this far. Can they do it again? A lot of times, odds are beaten. When have you beaten the odds? It was a long shot, but it came in. 01438 422 106. Lisa.
I have a half-brother who was brought up in Spain.
Hmm.
So the situation is quite complicated, really, but it was my mum's first marriage, which wasn't a very happy one.
Hmm.
So throughout my childhood, I always knew that I had another brother. I always knew that I had a brother in Spain.
Hmm.
And after many, many years, up until 3 years ago, he's now 53, I went on the internet. We were trying to locate him because my father had passed away, and we thought, well, let's try and locate him, and we did. So we had no idea if he was alive or dead or what had happened to him. I went on the internet, put his name in, couldn't find it, did a search, etc., etc. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be, what about if I just put his date of birth in? So I put his date of birth in, and it said famous people born on this day. I thought, oh, wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting, if he'd really made something of himself? I went in, and this photograph came up of my brother. And I tell you what, it was an absolute splitting image of my mum, and I knew straight away it was my brother. I went in, I looked at his profile, born 19th of February 1963 in London, and he'd actually become a really successful actor, comedian, and presenter in Spain. So he's Spanish, he's been brought up as being Spanish, his English is very, very poor. So we contacted him, and it was the biggest shock in our whole life. I never ever thought, as you say, I could ever pull something like that off, ever even trace him. We didn't even know if he was alive, let alone somebody quite famous. So, in Spain, that is, not over here.
But wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So we contacted him, we sent him an email initially, he contacted us back. Within a week, he was over in England, he knew all about us. And we have built this most fantastic, unique relationship between myself and him, my mum, who's obviously still alive, and my other 2 brothers. So he's my half-brother, if you imagine. But
yes.
Yeah, we don't call him our half-brother, obviously he's
No.
my brother. So he's over in Spain, he's really happy, got a lovely family, got lovely kids, and we go over there quite often now, and he comes here.
Wow,
and
you
three
beat the
years ago.
odds. You totally beat the odds on that one. You took a
I think
punt,
we
it was a
did.
long shot, and you beat the odds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Turn your knob to Bob. I'm talking to you, Orlando Bloom. When have you beaten the odds? Adam.
When I was younger, I used to play for Stevenage Borough, and the reserves and all sorts, but I suffered an injury.
Yeah.
Couldn't play anymore because my fitness was terrible. I was playing lower league, so my mum got me an audition for a holiday park.
She did what? What did she do, Adam?
She got me an audition in London just to get me out of the house, really, for a holiday park. Turned up, couldn't sing, couldn't dance, couldn't do anything.
So this was what, like a Butlins Redcoat kind of thing?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I turned up, I wiggled my ears and rolled my belly. That's all I could do.
Right.
And but that was the start of it. Basically, I got in and I met up with another young lad like me. Didn't really know what we was doing. And the long story is, we put ourselves together. Everyone said we could do it. It was awful, and we ended up taking it to Mallorca, to Cyprus, and doing Thompson's Gold holiday parks.
That is fantastic. What, the two of you, a bit like a double act, but...
Yeah, and we've carried on doing it for the last 10, 15 years.
And you've made your living at it?
Yep.
Hey, look at that. You totally beat the odds. Wow. So, are you still doing it?
Yeah, we're still doing it. We've just recently come back from a Goldie Oldies weekend. That's the trouble. We was very young.
Yeah.
And everywhere we turned up to these places, they were a bit worried. And we were going on, and we loved it. They loved it, and it was going great. And I never thought that would happen. All I wanted to be was a footballer.
And what do you call yourselves?
Flash and Jacks.
Flash and Jacks. Can we see Flash and Jacks anywhere local?
Yeah. We do all the local holiday parks. We do all the way from Cornwall up to Scotland.
Yeah.
And we still sometimes do the Mallorcas abroad and the Thompson's Golds and the Cyprus. It's great, and we're still best mates now. From then, we just met up in a caravan, and all we used to get a little bit drunk, and we used to be a bit silly, and ended up becoming our full-time job. And
do you still wiggle your ears and roll your tummy?
I don't wiggle my ears so much, but I roll my tummy every single gig.
All right, Flash and Jacks, check them out. Adam, great to talk to you. Thanks for checking in and telling us your story of how you beat the odds.
Cheers, mate.
Bob's Breakfast.
The British have a problem with commitment. I mean, really, we were never fully committed to the EU because we kept the pound, we kept pints and miles per gallon. The thing is, I don't think we're even fully committed to being Britons. We describe ourselves as British, as if we're only a bit Brit. Like something that's not that big is only big-ish. Or not that blue is just bluish. Not that young is young-ish. We're British. See, the thing is, we can also be snobbish, churlish, and standoffish. Which is all a bit rubbish.
This is Bob's Breakfast.
It's always nice to get an unexpected compliment. Yesterday, Julie, my wife, she's talking to a lady in the lobby of the block of flats where we live. Now, Julie's in her 40s. The lady looked at Julie, tilted her head to one side and said, "Are you 23? Well, Julie gave a polite giggle and made a minor adjustment to her hair. And then the lady carried on. Because there's some mail here for 23 that's ended up in our mailbox.
BOBfm.
Morning, Mark.
Talking about first cars.
Yeah.
Mine was an original Fiat 500.
The original, the old air-cooled ones.
The old air-cooled ones with the petrol tank inside the bonnet.
Yeah.
And if you weren't really careful,
yeah,
you'd be driving down the road and the bonnet would come up in front of your face.
Right, so you say the petrol cap... did you have to lift the bonnet to put the petrol in?
Yeah, to actually lift the bonnet to put the petrol in. The petrol tank and the cap were inside the bonnet at the front. But
so you'd fill it with petrol, you haven't shut the bonnet properly, you drive off, and as you're down the road, gust of wind, next minute you can't see a damn thing.
That's it. And to start them...
Yeah.
There used to be a choke on one side of the handbrake, a little lever. There was the handbrake in the middle.
Yeah.
A choke on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And then put the key in the ignition.
Yeah.
And then you pull the lever to the right-hand side for a starter motor. The key didn't start it. You had to put the key in.
Yes.
And then pull the handle to start it.
Right. And did it go all right once it got going?
It was okay.
Because I think the 500, that was 500cc, wasn't it? It was a tiny engine.
Yes, it was. It was a 500cc, and I think, it managed to do 0 to 60 in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, didn't have a speedo, had a calendar.
That's the one.
Bob's Breakfast.
Reading the Daily Mail is great because it reminds you that nothing is your fault. If you're fat, it's because supermarkets are promoting obesity by allowing special offers on fizzy drinks. If your kids are fat, it's not because you feed them too much. It's because there are too many fast food places near schools. If someone calls you fat, it's not because you are fat. It's because they are a bully and they're guilty of fat shaming. And if they do it online, they're an internet troll. And besides, you're not fat. You have body image issues. If you're broke, it's because top executives get paid too much. If you can't get a job, even though Britain has the lowest unemployment figures in 11 years, it's because of immigrants. And every other problem in your life is because we haven't left the EU yet. Nothing is your fault. And the really great news is that because nothing is your fault, the taxpayer will bail you out. If your belly's too big or your self-esteem is too low because your boobs are too small, we'll pay for your gastric band surgery or your boob job on the NHS. And if you can't stop smoking, we'll pay for your nicotine patches and your electronic cigarettes as well. It's brilliant. Not having to take responsibility for anything should make you feel good. What I can't understand is why Daily Mail readers always seem so miserable. The 20th anniversary of Oasis playing at Knebworth House. You've got a story, Phil.
When 20 years ago,
Yeah.
I was playing at a golf club called Stocks,
Yeah,
near Tring.
yeah.
They came to a golf club, they dug out the swimming pool, took all the water out of it, put a Rolls Royce in there, and they did the cover of their LP.
You are joking!
No.
You are... So that... Which album was that one? That was...
I think it's the first one.
And that's got a Rolls Royce going into a swimming pool?
Yeah, it was our swimming pool at Stocks Golf Club, near Tring, Hertfordshire.
Wow. And were the whole team down there, or was it just like the photography people?
I think the photographers and that there. I just remember them coming, everything sort of being shut off that day, them coming, and that was it. They did that at our golf club.
That is...
At the time. Yeah.
Top-notch rock trivia.
Okay,
on the
you go.
20th anniversary of them playing at Knebworth House. How about that? Hey, Phil,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
All right, cheers, Graham.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Here we are. Bob's Breakfast.
If you don't like this programme, you can always flick over and listen to Chris Evans shouting on Radio 2. That programme is broadcast in high def. Because to listen to it, you either have to be high or deaf.
This is Bob.
Now, you've just pointed out a sinister version of the David Cameron singing to himself tune.
That's right. This emerged on the internet yesterday.
You've put me... Now, where did this come from?
This was actually from a guy called Chris Hollis.
Ah, friend of the show,
Yeah,
Chris Hollis.
yeah.
Nice fella.
Yeah, he does music production and all sorts of clever stuff with music.
You see, when I first heard the David Cameron singing to himself tune, it did sound... Dum 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 dum. It sounded just kind of pleasant, but not.
Yeah.
Well, I've changed my mind. Listen, this is in case you haven't heard it yet. This is what Chris Hollis has done. So David Cameron announces he's going to hand over the keys to number 10. Then he does his usual trick of he turns around and he walks away from the press, and he walks towards the front door of number 10, not realizing his mic's still on, and we hear this.
Right.
This is what Chris Hollis has done with it.
Right. Right.
Chris Hollis has described it as the evil Tory theme tune.
It reminds me of something out of Star Wars.
Yes.
You know, where Darth Vader's walking round.
I don't know. I still think it was something far more innocent. I think it's just what we do sometimes when we sing to ourselves, hum to ourselves, whistle to ourselves, and even talk to ourselves.
Absolutely.
I've done it a lot.
Everyone does it.
Everyone does it. I'm Graham Mack, reminding you that if you want to succeed, you have to be a freak. Evolution happens because of freaks. When the environment changes, the herd is thinned, and the only ones that survive are the mutants who are suited to the new environment. That's why you don't see your short-necked giraffe. You only see the long-necked giraffe, which at one time was a freak. Survival of the fittest is really survival of the freakiest. Elvis was a freak. So were the Beatles. Jagger, Johnny Rotten, Hitchcock, Spielberg, Chaplin, Steve Jobs, Hurricane Higgins, Kenny Everett, and Muhammad Ali. There can be no progress without freaks. Get your freak on! David Cameron caught singing to himself. He announces that he's going to hand over the keys of number 10 to Theresa May, turns round, walks to the front door in Downing Street and goes, dum-da-dum, da-dum. When do you find yourself doing this? Self-communication. Jackie.
I sing very loud when I'm very stressed because it stops me punching somebody.
Give me an example of when this has stopped you punching someone.
At work, I walk out of my staff room, and the louder I sing, the more cross I am.
Right, and do
So
the
I
staff...
find if I sing quietly, then I'm like a little bit annoyed. I go, that is usually Whitney Houston, I have to say.
Yeah.
And it starts off a little bit of a plateau. But when I'm really angry, it becomes a complete concert, and I have to sing really loud.
The staff are aware of this?
I don't know yet.
You don't know, all right. So
No,
give me an example. Give me an example. You were in the staff meeting. Something happened. Can you tell me? Can you tell me what happened or what was said?
I think it was something about somebody had booked some time off without asking me.
Oh, okay. So you said something like "fine," and then you left the room.
That's exactly what the words were.
Yes.
The words were fine.
Yes, you left the room, and can you give me a chilling reenactment of what happened next?
I'm every woman, it's all in me.
Bob's Breakfast.
Shocking statistics out this week. 1 in 10 couples will split up on holiday. Yeah, the stress of the holiday gets them all hot under the collar, and they end up having a bit of a barney. So when you've been on holiday with your other half, Jane, what kicks things off?
Usually what kicks it off with us is me not being able to find my passport in the bottom of my bag.
This is a situation at the airport.
Yes, yeah.
So you haven't even...
But we don't fall out on holiday.
No, this is in the airport it happens. And she
in the airport
and he's like, oh, for goodness sake, Jane, why is it at the bottom of your bag? Why is it not in your hand? Look, mine's in my hand here.
Things out of my bag. Looking for it.
Right, and then it's on for one and all. And then what do you just fume on the plane and you settle down when you get there?
No, I just forget, it just goes over my head.
Oh, right, but that's what starts it off.
I don't worry about things like that.
Yeah. All right, Jane, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
David Cameron, gonna be a tough act to follow for Theresa May. Did you see Prime Minister's Question Time?
It was just a big joke yesterday. Cameron trying to get as many jokes in as possible.
It was the David Cameron stand-up act, and it was quite funny.
When it comes to women prime ministers, I'm very pleased to be able to say pretty soon it's going to be 2-0. let's just take the last week. We both have been having these leadership elections. We got on with it. We've had resignation, nomination, competition and coronation. They haven't even decided what the rules are yet.
David Cameron, stand-up comedy. Going down well with the crowd.
Oh, absolutely. If they ever got into power, it'd take them about a year to work out who would sit where.
The comedy stylings of David Cameron. Come back out here, Mr. Cameron. Take a bow. The comedy stylings, David Cameron, the Westminster wag. The comic of the commons. Bringing hilarity to the house. Can we hear it once again for the one and only David Cameron? Amazing. And you think, Theresa May, follow that. Can you play what you just played in the news? I don't think it was going well. To follow that, Theresa May does this.
When we take the big calls, we'll think not of the powerful, but you. When we pass new laws, we'll listen not to the mighty, but to you. That will be the mission of the government I lead.
What a contrast.
Tumbleweed.
Absolutely.
It's not happening, is it? So there we are thinking, oh dear, our new Prime Minister just doesn't. After the stand-up performance of David Cameron, our new Prime Minister just doesn't have it. But then she fires George Osborne and then appoints Boris Johnson as Foreign Secretary. Ladies and gentlemen, the comedy stylings of Theresa May. Theresa, come back out here. Let's have a bow. Theresa May, ladies and gentlemen.
Bob's Breakfast.
Morning, Tracy.
Hi, Graham.
This morning we're talking about tattoos. Show us your tats. What do you got?
Yeah, I have got 3 tattoos.
What of?
I've got a cat on my ankle, a little cat face.
Yeah.
And I've got a fairy on my shoulder.
Yeah. And what's the third one?
Oh, the third one, I don't really want to say.
No, come on.
Oh, God. It's a tattoo on my bum.
And what is it of?
It's 2 little interlinking hearts.
Okay. And why did you get that one?
I had it done with a boyfriend.
Okay. Were you sober?
Many years ago.
Were you sober at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you still with that boyfriend?
No.
Oh. Do you regret that one?
No, not at all, because it's got no names or anything like that.
Okay. And how does your current fella feel about that one?
I'm not with anyone at the moment, so...
How about that?
But no other ones have minded about that, because they didn't really tell them...
Oh, you didn't tell them the full story? Didn't tell them the full story. All right. So do you regret any of your tattoos?
No, I don't.
Okay. You like them?
Yeah, I do like them. Yeah, I do like them. Yeah.
Okay. So for you, they are not a tramp stamp?
No, definitely not. Okay. They're really small.
Right.
Yeah.
I see. Right. Oh, I see. A tramp stamp has to be a big one, does it?
Well, it's got to be in an area like that looks really sort of tarty. I mean, I know I've got one on my bum, but no one sees that.
Yeah. Yeah, but somebody now and again must see it. Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's not like, I see a tramp stamp as when someone is bending over in the 99p shop.
Yes.
And their trousers come down and you see a great big whatever it is showing.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened to me.
Okay, all right. Well, thanks for showing us your tats, Tracy.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bob's Breakfast.
What was David Cameron humming to himself as he walked back into number 10? If you haven't heard it yet, this is... I didn't realise the mic was still hot, and this is what David Cameron did. A lot of people have been trying to work it out. There's been talk that it was the theme to the West Wing. Or perhaps it was something from Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
Andrew Davenport reckons he's nailed it. He says it's Tara's theme from Gone with the Wind. Thanks for getting in touch, Andrew. Tara's theme from Gone with the Wind. Do, do, do. Is that it? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. You know, it could well be. Maybe David Cameron is a bit of a fan of Gone with the Wind. Maybe it's one of his favourite movies. I don't know. All I know is he is a little D-mob happy. He's leaving the job. I mean, just listen to this. This is when Theresa May asked David Cameron about what to do when she becomes Prime Minister.
You go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Bob's Breakfast.
What are you scared of? I bet you can't beat this lady in Essex. Her name's Melanie James. She's claustrophobic, agoraphobic, obsessive-compulsive. She's scared of bees, cows, traffic jams and horses, and even travelling more than 50 miles from her home. She missed her best friend's wedding because she was petrified of travelling more than 50 miles away from home. Phobias. What's yours, Sarah?
I do have a strange phobia. It's tall old ladies.
What is it that's so scary about
I don't know.
tall old ladies?
It's not right. Old ladies should be tiny. Little old lady. The saying's little old lady. You see a big tall old lady. Oh, it just freaks me out. I cannot bear tall old ladies. I get a little shudder when I see somebody. And I have a friend who's quite tall, and I keep saying to her, we can't be friends when you're old because I have a phobia of tall old ladies.
That is horrible.
It's weird. I can't bear tall old ladies.
Did a tall old lady do something to you when you were younger and traumatise you?
Not that I remember, but tall old ladies is not right.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing, Sarah. People are buying tattoo yourself kits online. That's not a great idea. So we're talking about tattoos this morning. Darren.
Yeah, I've got tattoos that I've done myself, like, you know what I mean? But and I regret obviously doing them. Where I went wrong, Graham, like, is I had girls' names on my arm.
Right.
And then obviously, like, you know, every girl that I went with after the last one, like, used to moan that her name weren't on there.
Right.
So now all on my right arm, because obviously I'm left-handed, like, you know, I've got Claire, I've got Wendy, I've got Julie, I've got Vanessa, and I've got Denise.
Right.
The only name I ain't got on there is Lucy, the woman I ended up marrying. But I ain't got any room left on my arm.
Right. What's the name of the lady you're with right now?
No, I'm single at the moment.
All right,
I wouldn't mind seeing Tracy that rang earlier on. I wouldn't mind seeing her tats.
Oh, the one she had on her bum, yeah.
Yeah, she's single and all.
Oh, yeah. All right, you never know. It sounds like it could be a match made in heaven. Thank you very much, Darren.
Bob's Breakfast.
Do. What is that? Morning, Pete.
I'm just ringing about Dave Cameron. I think he's actually humming a little bit of the tune to McFadden and Whitehead. There ain't no stopping us now.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
That would make sense, wouldn't it? That would make sense.
I think he's absolutely elated. He's had an unforgiving job. Who would want to do that job?
Exactly.
And I think he's overjoyed.
When you've been away with your other half and you've fallen out, what kicked it off? David, you were at a cabaret. Where was this cabaret?
Ilford came down in sunny Devon, North Devon.
Yeah.
And we were there on a holiday, and there was some evening entertainment, and then there was this girl opposite who was looking at me, and even though I wasn't doing anything, and my wife decided that she got the right hump and stormed out as if I was doing something, even though we were just literally, I was just sitting there watching the cabaret.
And what was the cabaret?
Tom Jones impersonator.
Tom Jones impersonator, right. So he couldn't have been that good if the girl was giving you the eye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, well, obviously comparing me to Tom Jones,
obviously.
I don't quite know.
Yeah, well, that's not unusual.
Bob's Breakfast.
do. Sounds familiar. Morning, Pete.
Can I play your new game, please?
What's the new game?
What's Dave humming?
Yes, what's Dave humming? That's right. Yes, what would you like to suggest that Dave is humming? Yes.
Singing in the rain.
Singing in the rain?
Because we're having terrible weather. We're not having a summer, are we? So he's humming, singing in the rain.
He could well be. Thanks very much, Pete, for taking
Did
part.
I win?
Well, I don't know, because I don't know what the right answer is. Unlike What's Bob Doing, where I know what the answer is, I don't know what David Cameron was humming.
I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again.
If you go on holiday with your other half, watch out. There are some frightening statistics out this week about the amount of couples who split up on holiday because the stress just gets too much for them. Earlier we spoke to Jane. Jane has a problem with her other half, Dave. He gets upset at the airport because she can never find her passport. To give us Dave's side of the story, here he is. So what is it then, Dave?
Well, basically, the reason is it's this bag she carries around with her everywhere.
Right.
I mean, Jane's whole universe revolves around this bag.
Okay.
And I can't see why she's got to take all her bills. Yeah, you got it, Graham. You know what I mean? Everything that's paper, that's had any relation in the last 3 or 4 years is all in that bag.
It's in that bag. So when it comes to finding her passport, she hasn't got a chance because there's too much other stuff to rummage through first.
Yeah, and she likes to look after my passport and the visas and the booking in.
And they all end up in this bag, the bag from hell?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, she'll be listening to this, Graham, and she'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. And that's what, so the holiday always starts off that way, but you always sort it out? Always sort things out, yeah.
By the time we get on the plane, I've usually got it all in my little bag.
Yeah, oh, right,
when we get out of the other end,
you're all
we're not holding everyone up.
All right, Dave, thanks a lot.
Bob's Breakfast.
You've probably heard that Donald Trump's wife, Melania, has been accused of nicking bits of her speech from Michelle Obama, the current First Lady. I've done a comparison and I've put the two back to back for you to hear. See if you think that one has stolen from the other.
Values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life.
The values that you work hard for what you want in life.
I mean, those two sound pretty similar to me.
That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
Pretty close.
That you treat people with dignity and respect.
That you treat people with respect.
Because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
I put it to you, based on the evidence you're about to hear, that Melania Trump has also stolen from somebody even more important than Michelle Obama. Listen to this.
He will never, ever give up. And most importantly, he will never, ever let you down.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
He will never, ever give up. He will never, ever let you down.
Bob's Breakfast.
Nick's on the phone. You're not happy. What's up?
I was just getting a bit infuriated with the comments made about things with cycling and that.
Why? What was false about what I said about cycling?
Yeah, well, what it is like, it's sort of against cyclists, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it's not against cyclists. It's just I don't understand why people would do such a dangerous thing and put their lives at risk and get in the way of other people.
No, I don't think that's the case. The problem is, I think people are intolerant of other users.
Oh yeah, I'm extremely intolerant of cyclists. I hate them. I think they're a menace.
That's
your opinion. I do about 1,000 miles. I travel about 1,000 miles a week on a, and I ride a bike, I ride a motorcycle, I drive a car, and I drive a van.
Right.
And if people are a bit more tolerant of each other and actually respected each other, and I'm not just saying about cyclists.
Yeah, but that's a pipe dream. That won't make cycling isn't safe. It's a dangerous thing to do, and blaming the other drivers is silly. You're 17 times more likely to be killed on a push bike than you are driving a motor vehicle. So why would you do it?
You would do it because you enjoy it, and the thing is, if people have more respect for each other, I drive.
But you can enjoy it on a cycle track, or in a velodrome, or during a competitive race where they close the roads. You shouldn't be racing anything, never mind bikes, on the public highway. You shouldn't be. Cycling is a sport, and it's a great sport. You shouldn't be doing it on the road, just like you shouldn't be playing football on a dual carriageway.
Totally and utterly disagree with you. I drive, as I say, I go, I'm out in a car, and I see lorry drivers, I see bike cyclists as well, which are, act absolutely stupidly.
Yeah, and they're always going to do that because people are stupid. Then you're not going to change motorists. You're more vulnerable on a push bike.
Car drivers, and at the moment, I'm driving a big van.
Yeah.
Out on hands-free.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, if you had respect and respected what other values are on other people's...
And we could all wish for world peace. It's not going to happen. People are idiots on the road. So cyclists shouldn't get on the road with idiots. You're not going to change the world. You're not going to change it. The safest thing to do...
It's comments like yours, that make... they already it's quite...
No, my comments don't make anybody drive worse than they drive. My comments might save a life today if somebody who was going to get on a bicycle didn't get on one. Is there a problem with the world's largest aircraft? This week, the Airlander 10 took to the skies above Bedfordshire. Yeah, huge thing. The airship has been nicknamed the Flying Bum because of its bulbous exterior. It uses helium to become airborne and can stay in the air for about 5 days. That's the bit that worries me. It's a balloon, right? Full of gas. Surely, as long as the gas stays inside the balloon, it should be able to stay airborne for as long as it wants, shouldn't it? If it can only stay up for 5 days, it must have a leak. Now, I've heard the noise a balloon makes when it leaks. Does this mean that this airship not only looks like a bum, but it sounds like one as well?
Bob's Breakfast.
Talking about this party where it was too noisy, so the police showed up to attend the noise complaint and were mistaken for strippers. What's your story of a case of mistaken identity? Adam.
I'm terrible for mistaking other people for my wife.
Now, you'd think of all of the people that you'd be able to spot in a crowd, your wife would be right up there in your top 3, I'm guessing.
I daydream a lot, and it's terrible. I've often gone up to people, and on loads of occasions, and kind of, just say we're in a queue at Subway, and I'm just having a little look at the menu. She's at the front of the queue, and then I go up to say, I'll have the meatball marinara, honey. And I'll look behind, and it's not her at all. It's not her at all. She's even stood with a fella sometimes.
Oh, you've still done it. So you've done it in Subway. Where else have you done it?
Tesco's, nightclubs, pubs, everywhere. But it's so common now that my wife just looks. She watches me do it. She just watches me do it. I'm terrible for it.
Now, it's embarrassing. It's never got to anything physical, has it? Because you've never gone up and gone and given a complete stranger a cuddle or anything, have you?
Well, no, I don't. We're not very tactile anyway.
Okay, right.
But I do I have a couple of times put my hand kind of around them a little bit, just at the back, just to let her know I'm here.
Yeah.
But it's not her.
All right, Adam. Thanks for sharing.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bob's Breakfast.
Cases of mistaken identity. Dave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got quite a funny one, actually.
What happened?
I got mistaken for a mate of mine
Yeah.
by my wife.
By your wife?
Yeah.
Would she not have her glasses on or something? What's going on there?
Well, we was at a party,
Yeah.
and we was all having a good time. Jane had a couple of drinks, and she went and sat down on what she thought was my lap and started rubbing my knee.
Mm-hmm.
But to her horror, it was a friend of mine called Russell, and the look on his face was absolutely a picture.
Yeah, it'd be horror for him too.
Yeah, and Jane's never lived it down till this day. Every time we see each other, he, come sit on my lap, Jane.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, actually, I feel quite flattered, actually, because he's a lot better looking than me. But
Bob's Breakfast.
Donald Trump always to me looks like a fella who's combed his hair with a balloon.
Brush your teeth. It's Bob's Breakfast.
I was just thinking back. It's been almost 20 years since I left Australia. The last radio station I worked on there was a station called 2GO on the central coast of New South Wales, about an hour north of Sydney. I did the nighttime show and I used to get some weird callers. I'm pretty sure alcohol was involved. But here's some of the people who used to call me at night in Australia. Come back in time with me now.
Hello, Mr. Mack Attack.
Who's this?
How you going? It's Greg.
Oh, who's that shouting out?
Well, Leona and Peter.
Who are they?
Oh, they're friends of mine. And they're very much in love.
Ooh. That's nice. So they're all round at your place tonight?
No, they're at Peter's place. I gate crashed their party.
Oh, and you're using Peter's phone?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, just ringing up the bill, mate. No worries.
So you're the mate that he's got that she hates then, I suppose? You'd be your bloody mate Greg, wouldn't you?
It's Rebecca from the Central Coast Truck Show.
I suppose the truck's out of the question.
Oh, good on ya.
My name's Myola Joy Roach, and I'm 48, and I've got long blonde hair down to my shoulders.
Do you have a famous celebrity that you look like?
Maybe a bit like Nicole Kidman.
Ah, really?
Bit fatter, though.
Hello there, who are you?
Who am I? I'm Darren.
You talking to yourself, Darren?
Am I?
Every time I turn 2GO on, you're on.
They're working me into the ground.
And why's that?
Because they hate my guts.
Oh, yeah.
They put me on a show where I have to talk to people like you. They obviously can't like me.
You're going back to England?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh, great. Oh, man.
I'm sorry, Liv, but when you gotta go, you gotta go.
2GO has just died.
I hope Liv recovered from that. Bob's here. You've not been up to much lately, Bob. What did you do last night?
I went out for some takeaway. That's it.
What did you go for?
A chicken Caesar wrap.
That reminds me of something funny that happened at a radio station I worked at not long ago. There was a news reporter that worked there who, shall we say, was, well, airhead is probably too strong, but she wasn't so bright.
Yes.
Okay. There was also a very, very good journalist who presented the bulletins. She was very sharp. She knew everything. Something, yes. If you didn't hear it from her on the news, it just didn't happen. I mean, she knew everything. So the young reporter that goes out has got a reputation in the building for being, a little bit ditzy. So she says one day in the office to the the Warhorse news journalist lady kind of thing. She says, what's the difference between a wrap and a donut? just randomly from nowhere. So the hard-edged news presenter goes, well, a donut's kind of sweet. So she goes, really? Sweet? Always? She's like, well, pretty sure, yeah. Wow. I never knew that. I thought they could be either way. No. The next day she comes back into the office. She says, you know when I asked you about a donut and a wrap? She said, yeah. She said, I was talking about audio. Because in news, if they do a story that is a self-contained piece where you know, it's a recorded piece and it's self-contained, it's known as a wrap. And it covers the whole story. Yeah, if you do a piece that has a top and a tail to it, well, that's a donut.
What would you do if you were accidentally given £44,000?
What do you mean accidentally given? Explain the circumstances. How did I get it?
Well, there was a builder who ended up with this money. He immediately went on a 6-week
Where did he get it from?
spending spree.
Do you mean you don't just end up with 44 grand?
Well, the mistake happened when this builder put the decimal point in the wrong place. So he was being paid, and the money went into his account with the decimal point.
Oh, it was his wages?
It was his wages.
Straight away. You go and see the boss and go, there's been a mistake here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're gonna work it out. They're gonna find that amount of money.
Yeah.
At some stage, it mightn't be tomorrow, it mightn't be next week, but eventually they're gonna work it out.
44 grand is a lot of money.
They will notice that's gone missing.
Unless they've got a particularly bad accountant.
Yeah, no, they'll notice.
Yeah, of course. Well, this guy noticed this money in his account. He gambled away £12,500 on the night he received the money.
Wait a second. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Even if you'd got 44 grand legitimately, like you'd won it in a lottery or something, the last thing you're going to do is go gambling with it.
Yeah.
You've just won. The chances of you winning again this big are so slim now. Law of averages.
Well,
he gambled away 12 grand.
He obviously couldn't believe his luck because he put in an invoice for £446 and
Right.
ended up with 44,660.
Yes,
Yeah.
considerable amount more.
He's been given a suspended sentence now. He's avoided a jail sentence.
He's lucky to be out of jail. I suppose they need him out of jail so as he can work to pay the money back.
Yeah.
Because if you put him in jail, he can't pay it back. You've got to pay it back.
Well, yeah. I mean, he went online and blew all this cash on a betting website.
What an idiot.
Jewellery was also on his shopping list.
But never mind that. 12 grand. You think what you can buy for 12 grand? You can buy a new car.
Well, he did actually buy a new car.
Yes.
Along with the rest of the money.
Oh, did he now?
Yeah.
But for 12 grand, you can really enjoy just that portion. Forget the 44.
Yeah.
You can really enjoy 12 grand.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that could be a first class round the world trip, round the world cruise. You could enjoy 12 grand. There is no way in one night that bloke gambling got the amount of whatever you call it, satisfaction that he could have got with that 12 grand. This is why I don't understand gambling. This is from me, who's been to Las Vegas twice and not gambled when I was there. Not because I'm a miser, but when I got there and I saw all this free entertainment and these amazing buffets for $1 and these huge casinos, you think to yourself, there's no way you can win at this gambling lark. This game is rigged. All of the games are rigged in the house's favour. Unless you are Donald Trump. You cannot lose money running a casino. But Donald Trump has done that twice. So to gamble it. It's like, this guy's an idiot.
So is that happened to me. I got accidentally paid for a month after I left a company. And they had put in but I just told them I didn't go gambling.
They're gonna get the but they're gonna get the money back.
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't they?
They're gonna.
It's their money.
Hope.
It's not your money.
Yeah.
Well, this guy, despite spending $12,500 on gambling, then only spent £2,000 on a car.
Well, what happened there?
Well,
did he have nothing else left? Did he spent it all?
No, he'd still got a fair proportion left. So he'd spent this $12,500 on gambling. He then bought a knackered old car for $2,000. It broke down the same day that he bought it.
Could have bought a really good, brand new car for about $12,000. Nice hatchback.
Yeah. It was taken into a garage to be fixed. But then it turned out he couldn't afford to pay the bill because he had no money left when this car was ready to be picked up.
Is this bloke from Teesside by any chance?
He is.
Now, just if anyone's listening who's from Teesside, I'm not just saying that for a cheap laugh, but I lived in Teesside. I worked at TFM, a station which doesn't exist anymore. I left, the ratings went, and they amalgamated it with another one. Because once you go Mack, you can't go back. Anyway, I worked up there for 4 years.
Yes.
And there were a couple of times where people on the phone just blew my mind with what they do with money. One of them, I think the Euro Millions had hit a new jackpot, so we just went on the air with the classic, what would you spend the money on? And a woman on the phone says to me, and it was, I forget how much money it was like 100 million quid. It was ridiculous. It was an unimaginable amount of life-changing amount of money. And I said to this woman, I said, what would you do with the money? She says, I'd buy a new car. And I went, all right, what would you buy? And she went, a Citroen. And I thought that was as funny as it got.
Yeah.
Weeks later, there was a bloke from Teesside on Big Brother where you win $100,000.
Yeah.
And this, along the way, I don't remember this series of Big Brother, they had some contest or whatever, and this kid won $100,000 while he was still in the house. And he was still playing to win another $100,000 as the eventual winner. They had some contest in the house, and he won £100,000. So we tracked down his dad, because his name was we found it in the online anyway.
Yeah.
So I rang his dad live on the air, and I said to his dad, I said, you know, he's won this money. When he comes out of the house, are you hoping he's going to treat you? He says, oh, I hope so. I said, oh, great. Well, what do you got your eye on? He says, well, I've got my eye on a couple of pigeons. I'm not joking, that's what he said. So I'm wondering,
how long ago was this?
This wasn't that long ago. It was 2008.
A couple of pigeons.
Yeah, it was like
Well, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So where's this fella from? I'm just wondering.
He's from North Yorkshire.
He's from North Yorkshire. He's from North Yorkshire. There's something about that part of the world, I'm telling you.
Bob's Breakfast.
BHS. Ooly dooly. This Sir Philip Green taking the H out of BHS. And there are calls for him to lose his knighthood. MPs accused him of systematically taking money out of BHS and failing to address its pension deficit. Do you know what his knighthood's for?
No.
Services to retail.
Oh, dear.
Now, the Liberal Democrat leader Tim Farron and the Labour leadership candidate Owen Smith have called for Sir Philip to lose his knighthood. The bookmakers Paddy Power reckon that Green is odds on to lose his knighthood by the end of 2017. There's even a petition calling for it to be revoked, which gets hundreds of signatures per minute. There's 57,000 signatures on it right now. I don't agree. I don't think Sir Philip Green should be stripped of his knighthood. I reckon he should still be a knight. If an employee of BHS had been caught with their hand in the till, they would have been sacked. And if they'd taken out as much money as Green did, now remember, he left BHS with a £571 million deficit in their pension fund alone. This is the bloke, if you haven't seen him, there's pictures of him in today's papers on his yacht. Anyway, If an employee of BHS had been caught with their hand in the till, they would have been fired, and there would have been criminal proceedings.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they should do with this fella. Taking titles off people when they do something wrong, that's just a way of sanitising the brand of titles. The establishment will definitely want to strip him of his title. He's another embarrassment to them, like the paedophiles Sir Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris and Stuart Hall. Savile was a knight, Rolf Harris was a CBE, Stuart Hall was an OBE. Then there's the Soviet spy, Sir Anthony Blunt, and the disgraced banker, Sir Fred the Shred Goodwin. You see, when people with these titles get found out, their title should remain intact to expose how irrelevant these titles are as a judge of character. Mispronunciation. Mick.
Went to a restaurant with my wife,
Yeah.
and she asked for a quickie. I said it's pronounced quiche.
Bob's Breakfast.
So what's that about the MTV Music Awards?
They're due to take place. This is in New York at the end of next month. Adele going head-to-head with Beyonce.
Yeah.
For one of the prizes.
I tell you someone who won't be getting a prize.
Who's that?
Paul Simon.
Paul Simon? What is that?
Well, legendary singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Written some of the most iconic songs ever.
Mm.
Have you heard him? He performed at the Democratic National Convention.
I've heard about it. I've not heard him.
You've not actually heard the audio?
I've not heard the audio yet.
Bridge over troubled water.
When you're weary, you're feeling small.
It's not too bad there.
No.
When tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all.
Okay.
I'm on your side. When times get rough,
Times get rough. Singing gets rough.
and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down like a bridge over troubled water. I will lay me down.
It's like when a drunken uncle decides to do a version.
The picture I got in my mind was somebody leaning against a bar with a pint of beer in
Yeah.
the other hand.
And when you're down and out,
It's the medley.
Yeah.
when you're on the street, yeah.
He's messing with his own song too much.
Evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I will comfort you. I'll take your part.
Now it sounds like he's starting to relax into it a little bit now.
Yeah.
When darkness comes and pain is all around,
Well, he's got that right about pain.
just like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Like a bridge over troubled water.
Oh no. So
It
not
kind of
good.
sounds like he's lost interest.
Yeah. I don't know what's gone on. You know what he should do though?
What's that?
He should maybe, like, I don't know, team up with another singer. You know, form some kind of a double act.
Good idea.
Maybe if only he could find, like, an odd-looking, awkward, taller bloke with a receding Jewfro. That might work.
It's Bob.
Why is my wife booking a secret trip to Scotland? That's what I was thinking yesterday afternoon. You see, I'm busy on the computer, and I heard her in the other room, and she just shouted out the word train, and then she shouted out Edinburgh, and it sounded to me like she was on the phone to one of those automated ticket lines. So I walked in, and that's when I realised she's watching the quiz show The Chase with the headphones on, and she's shouting out the answers.
This is BOBfm.
I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes. You know, when I discovered a 3-inch long crack in my car's windscreen, I was angry at first. And then I realised that crack contained the secrets to eternal life. You see, the crack can't be repaired. I need a new windscreen. It's the latest part that needs replacing on this car, which I've had for about a year and a half now. And so far it's had the front resprayed, new door mirrors, the exhaust system replaced, a new boot seal, a window regulator, the bonnet release replaced, the transmission fluid and filter changed once, the engine oil and filter changed twice, the air conditioning system regassed, a new back tyre, a new oxygen sensor, and the engine's been rebuilt. Next month it's due to have 2 catalytic converters and 4 oxygen sensors replaced. By then it'll be due for its next service, and it'll need new spark plugs. If I keep replacing parts at this rate, at a certain point the car will consist of more new parts than originals. And if I keep going, eventually I'll be driving a new car. Wouldn't it be great if you could do the same thing with people? Aging is just a series of parts wearing out. The human body's not like a machine. Spare parts are in short supply, and some simply can't be replaced. Imagine if you could download the contents of your mind onto a memory stick. I mean, everything that makes you, you. Every memory, opinion and nuance of your character, every skill you've ever learned, your entire personality. When your body eventually gives up, the essence of who you are could be transferred and live on inside a computer. And if that computer was inside a humanoid robot, you'd be able to live forever. Now that might be a problem because the Earth won't go on forever. And if we keep producing people at the current rate, we'll run out of resources to keep them all alive on the Earth before that happens anyway. Luckily, it seems that the universe does go on forever. And last week, NASA scientists discovered a new Earth-like planet called Proxima b. It's about 25 trillion miles from Earth. Using current technology, it would take around 20 years to get there. That's a long time. But if you lived forever, that's no time at all. And if you were a humanoid robot, you wouldn't need all the comforts of Earth like food and water and a breathable atmosphere. You'd just need electricity, and you could get that from solar cells or all kinds of renewable sources. In fact, you wouldn't even need a planet that was that Earth-like. Maybe Mars or even the Moon would do. Developing the technology to download the human mind onto a flash drive might be difficult, but it's worth a crack.
Bob's Breakfast.